Let's do it! Yo, 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 yo! We are live. We are back. Hope you guys are having a wonderful night. Unless you're a Chargers fan, I'm sure you're having a terrible night right now.
But, I don't know what the score is.
It was 21-0 Raiders in the first quarter. So,
Christ.
Brandon Staley, you're done. You're out.
I'm amazed he didn't get shipped out already, man.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
Terrible. But this is, of course, the Three Man Rush podcast coming to you live on a wonderful Thursday night. I'm your host, Landon Oliver. Follow me on Twitter. Twitter handle's right there with my two co-hosts, my two best friends, my two boys, Big Drew and young Jared Holly down there. Looking all together, young Jared with the gray beard.
Thank you. I feel really good about that.
You look sophisticated, man.
You do. And unfortunately, Bruce got on a hoodie that he's probably not proud of right now, but Jared has on a hoodie that he's extremely proud of right now. So, look, the last time –
you guys did a few of them.
Yeah, the last time we were on here, man, we said whenever we did a show, we give you a little bit of time at the beginning. If the Rangers won, go ahead and talk your shit. So, if you want to take the floor, go ahead, gloat, man. Celebrate.
I have no shit to talk though, man. I'm not
saying talk shit. I'm just saying talk your shit. Like celebrate.
Oh man, it was awesome. I was in New Orleans for work and basically had to watch it from a hotel, and I had to like FaceTime my dad. And I talked to Landon on the phone. I may or may not have cried. I don't remember. I probably did, but yeah, it was great. I think they're built for the future too. So like. I think they'll be right back in it. Obviously, there was some big news in baseball over the week, but yeah, the rest right. But I think like if they can get some of these arms healthy too, I mean, sky's the limit.
Big news in baseball today too. I mean, I consider it big, but the Dodgers traded for Tyler Glasnow too. So
they did what now?
They traded for Miguel Margot and Tyler Glasnow from Tampa.
Holy cow. That's wild.
Yeah, and they're probably not done because, they're paying Shohei Ohtani $500. So
$500.
they're probably not done either. Is the depressing part about it.
No, there's that big Japanese pitcher that's still out there too, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He's still out there, and the Dodgers are considered the favorite to get him.
Of course they are.
Yeah, depressing times, man. I just want the Cardinals to add one more starter. Just give me one more. Throw the bag at it. Throw the bag at old boy, or go trade for Dylan Cease.
Well, especially now that you know that like you can throw the bag at him, and you don't even really have to pay him until 15 years down the road.
Yeah, Cardinals would never do that though. They'll defer a couple million in deals. Like Matt Holliday's deal was set up that way. Waino's deal was set up that way. They'll do $1 million or $2 million here or there. Like,
you mean they're not going to defer $700 million?
No, they're not going to do that. Unfortunately, that's so broken, man. That makes no sense.
They did get who's the pitcher that you guys got?
Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray. I mean, that's a great pickup.
You can't forget about Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn too.
Lance Lynn's never ending, man. He'll be around forever.
They've got Sonny Gray is like a solid, he's like a 1B or a really, really good number 2 starter. And then they got a whole bunch of 4 and 5 starters. So it's hard. I mean, their rotation is better than it was last year, but it's still not good enough to. They're good enough to be a wild card team, but they're not good enough to be a contender. Not with that rotation. So
I don't know if there's any really contenders outside of the Yankees and Dodgers, like
Rangers.
People felt like that about the Padres and the Mets going into last year too, with all the money and everything like that. And thankfully the game ain't played on paper. I'll be praying for the Dodgers' downfall without a doubt. And you know where the Cardinals start off their season next year?
LA.
A 4-game series at LA against the Dodgers. They sure do. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's wild.
That'll be interesting for sure. Well, speaking of broken, let's talk about football real quick because every starting quarterback in the NFL is broken right now. No starters anymore. The game is now played with backups. And we got the battle of backups going on right now as well. Speaking of
28-0. 28 to
nothing.
nothing.
Scored again.
28-0. 8 minutes left until halftime. Justin Herbert is fucking incredible. He is unreal. It is insane that team has 5 wins.
Brady Staley's good, man.
It's 28-0 in the middle of the second quarter, and not a single one of them has gone to fucking Devontae Adams. He's got 2 catches for 30 yards.
Sounds about right.
2 for 30, huh?
And he was supposed to be a good play tonight. He the coverage that
he's not because I played
the Chargers play it lined up perfectly for him.
Yeah, well, I played him and I'm in the playoffs, so he's not a good play tonight.
Oh yeah, it is tilt season. The time of the year is here, man. Where all of our fantasy players let us down.
You ever want to see a more pissed individual? Tune in next week whenever my undefeated 14-0 team loses in their first playoff game. If you ever want to see me really angry, go ahead and tune into that one.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That would send me on a tilt trip that would never end.
And really,
it's coming too, man. You know it's coming.
100%. I know it's coming. 100%.
He's on a bye this week, so his team's going to put up like 160 on the bye this week, and then next week they're putting up like a solid 80 burger.
80, yeah. I'm hitting 80 next week tops. I'm going to lose like 3 starters in the first quarter to injury.
Yeah,
it is literally a miracle. For one, I will pat myself on the back. I've never been undefeated in any league. Like, that's pretty crazy. In a 12-team league, you go 14-0. A lot of it's pure dumbass.
I've never even sniffed that before.
For example, I'm talking about luck. I'm talking about last week, Jordan Love or DeAndre Hopkins outscored Jordan Love and Tyreek Hill for me to win that game last week.
In our league, I beat you with Trayvon Burks. Man, my team was terrible, and I put up 114 in half-point PPR, which is unreal.
Yeah,
it always happens when you don't expect it.
Yeah. So So anyway, I went undefeated, so I'll give myself a pat on the back because that's a pretty crazy accomplishment. But that being said, I'm 100% prepared next week to get absolutely wrecked, and it's gonna piss me off quite a bit.
Yeah, that would tilt me too. I've been on full tilt as far as fantasy goes for a couple weeks now, so I get it, man. I get it. I'm already preparing myself. All the injury bug. I've dodged the injury bug for the most part. As far as the major injuries, I had some injuries to some flex plays and stuff like that. But the major injuries, I dodged them for the most part up until 2 weeks ago, and it's just been fucking. When it rains, it pours. But I'm shocked that I'm shocked that the Chargers are getting beat as bad as they are. I'm shocked that Brandon Staley is even going to be allowed to go into the tunnel at halftime. I'm surprised that they don't just hey, we'll mail you your shit, just get out. And I truly am shocked that the Chargers have somehow won 5 games this year. That makes no sense to me. Nobody better ever try to tell me Justin Herbert isn't good ever. You see what this team's doing without him against the Raiders. It'd be one thing if they were getting beat 28-0 by Baltimore or some shit, but they're getting beat by the Raiders and their backup quarterback.
The Raiders that lost 3-0 last week in Minnesota.
Right. Exactly.
A buddy of mine, he didn't know if the game was on, and I said he texted me and he was like, "Is
me?"
No, he's a Vikings fan. And he was like, I can't find the game anywhere. I said, you must be on Red Zone.
That's a good one.
Well, I know, me and Jerry were talking the other day, and he had said, because I didn't even watch football this weekend. I was just busy. I was hanging out with my wife. We were doing other things. I haven't really watched a ton of football, but just even in general, just after Anthony Richardson was down, I was telling Drew, my interest in this season is just who cares? But I was talking to Jared the other day, and he was like, Minnesota beat the Raiders 3-0. And I was like, the full score? That was the whole game? Not just the first quarter? He was like, no, it was the full game. I was like, man, that fucking sucks. Like,
And it not only was it 3-0, it was scoreless up until like 2 minutes
Give me
left in the
warning.
game. Like the three points came at the very end. Like it was the
they scored
most disgusting game.
how is that even possible?
Well, I guess
In
I didn't
today's
know this.
world, I really didn't know it was.
There's never been a game go to overtime that was 0-0. And we got within
Really?
less than 2 minutes. Yeah, I didn't
I
know
don't
that.
know. Who did the Texans play this week?
Who did the
Tennessee, the Titans.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did play the Titans.
So they're gonna. So like apparently, I guess like the Texans are just like wrecked right now because
They're
like, C.J. Stroud could be hurt, Nico Collins, Tank Dell's out. Like there's like, I saw like a huge list of injuries, and I was like, man, that's gonna be a terrible game.
Miami's pretty beat up right now too.
You want to talk about the Justin Herbert value? What about Tyreek Hill value?
Sheesh.
After that
Yeah.
Monday night game.
So I think it's pretty clear how valuable he is, but I will fucking riot if he wins MVP though.
Why?
If Cooper Kupp didn't get MVP whenever he had the triple fucking crown, why should Tyreek get the MVP this year?
Quarterback plays way down this year. Way down.
Yeah, it is trash.
Kupp was man. I'll riot. They got to go back and give Kupp the MVP.
Yeah, him and Jonathan Taylor both that year. Is JT, Cooper Kupp, and who ended up winning MVP? Was it
I think it was Rodgers that won it. I think it was the second one of his back-to-back that year.
Yeah, because Brady was in talks that year too.
The real question is how angry Drew is going to be whenever Brock Purdy wins MVP.
Oh my God! You want to talk about annoyed?
Runner, baby.
No, I don't have to worry about that because Lamar should already be considered one of the favorites, and he is about to go absolutely fucking bananas against Jacksonville.
Oh no, man, Dak Prescott. Woo.
Dak's played.
Yeah, Dak's been on a heater too. But I think I have a good feeling that Lamar is about to have a really, really good game because Jacksonville has really fucking struggled against quarterbacks this year, especially lately. And so I think Lamar's about to go nuts.
So weird question. I saw this tonight. Speaking of the Jaguars, I want to ask you guys because I know my answer. Relative to the pre-draft talk and after he was drafted, would you consider Trevor Lawrence so far? I don't want to use the word bust because I don't think he's a bust, but like, would you consider it disappointing based on how he was talked about pre-draft and after he was drafted?
No, due to circumstances, I don't.
Like generational, like Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck level talent is what.
If you viewed him in that light, I think you have
to
be.
Well, I mean, that's what he was viewed as coming out of going into the draft. He was viewed as he is the best prospect since Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning. He is on the level of those guys as a prospect. I mean, like I know you guys heard the talk, so I mean,
I heard.
Yeah, there's people.
I mean, like if you view it through that lens, like the question posed, like that I saw online was like, would you consider him a bust? But I think that word gets thrown around too much. He's definitely not a bust.
That would be an immediate no.
Yeah, he's not a bust for sure. But relative to how he was talked about pre-draft, would you consider him a disappointment so far?
No. I mean, his first year alone, like he was coming off injury.
Urban Meyer, that year doesn't count.
Urban Meyer, that year
doesn't even exist to me. In my brain, that year never even happened.
I will say this: they went out and got a real head coach, and they spent money on those receivers that everybody laughed about, and I just ran laps because I thought it was the greatest thing ever because they made the playoffs and they won a playoff game last year and a huge comeback too. I don't think he nowhere near bust conversation. Maybe not living up to expectations, but he's been injury prone pretty much the whole entire career in the NFL.
Yeah. So this is my boy Chris B. He's the host of the fantasy show I do with Fantasy and Frames every Wednesday night. Said first year was a mess with the staff. Give him one more year in this system before I tag him a bust. I think that's fair. I think
because going into this year, everybody was expecting like this is year 2 with Doug Peterson. This is the third year in the NFL. He's supposed to make this leap that puts him in that elite, like top 3 quarterback, top 5 quarterback conversation. And
Well,
he
up
definitely,
until 2 weeks
he
ago,
definitely hasn't been that this year.
but
Yeah.
up until 2 weeks
And they
ago,
went out and got Calvin Ridley. Like that was supposed to be like a big thing.
they got Calvin Ridley for pennies on the dollar, man. At the end of the day,
Yeah, they got a good
I
deal.
mean,
with
it was, yeah. But
even
I will
after
say,
even after how the years played out, you go back and you do that deal over again every time.
Oh yeah, he's still a good football player.
Yeah.
I will say too. I mean, up until like 2 weeks ago, there was a lot of people, and I kind of drank the Kool-Aid too, that had them as the 1 seed in AFC because of their schedule.
Yeah.
And I don't. Now they're
good enough to be the 1 seed. They're still too up and down.
It don't matter if you're good enough or not. If your schedule is what it is,
right. It was just a mix. It was just a mix of their schedule and then how good of a team.
Bill Collins to go. He's putting up
Apparently, man, 28.
Did you guys see the AFC and NFC players of the week?
What talk about it? What was Tommy DeVito and
Zach Wilson?
Tommy Cutlets and Zach Wilson. That's crazy.
New York.
We are we
are
live
in a simulation.
There's no way.
The Matrix is broken.
Yeah, there's no way this is real life, man.
Try playing DFS every
I'm
week.
here. I'm here for Tommy Cutlets, though.
There's no way. There's no way I would play NFL DFS right now.
I played Flacco last week and it worked out.
Yeah, he was a good play last week. Yeah.
DFS
is a shit show right now. I mean, a shit show. Whenever you see the lineups that are winning these big tournaments, it's just like you just shake your head every single week.
Look, Jared can attest to this. Both of us knew DFS was a shit show. There was like years ago, whenever me and him were playing, when we first started playing DFS together.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, we entered a tournament, and the dude that won $1 million, his quarterback was Brock Osweiler.
He wasn't even a starter.
Yeah.
It was a week he came in he came in for an injury.
He came in
for injury. Oh my god.
Yeah, they benched Peyton Manning. He came in and started for Manning after Manning got benched. And the dude won $1 million in the contest. And I looked at Jared. I was like, "There's no fucking way we're going to win this.
DFS is not real."
Yeah, like that's the dumbest thing ever. Like if somebody came up to me that week and they were like, "I'm going to play Brock Osweiler," I'd be like, "You're a fucking idiot."
Man, I look at my lineups and I'm just like, "Oh, this looks so good," and I'm just like counting the dollars in my head. I'm like, "This lineup.
I know.
There's no way. There's no way.
There's no way this can lose."
By the 3:00 games, I'm just like,
I'm done.
I don't have to look at this lineup for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Oh man, Turnbow's tilting right now.
Turnbow is why?
Because he's in that playoff game in our replacement leagues, and he's got Austin Eckler going.
Oh yeah, Eckler hadn't done shit tonight.
Dude, he's pissed. He's like, Easton Stick is not him. He's like, how fucking hard is it to dump it off to Austin Eckler?
I mean, seriously, though, that should have been the easiest read tonight, for real.
Bro, Whitaker. Oh, no, he's not in the playoffs. He's got Josh Kelly going. He's got -2 points.
Josh Kelly.
Yeah, he's playing me in the consolation bracket, which is that bracket doesn't matter for our league. All right, so looking at the playoffs.
Hold on, go down a little bit further.
All right, I'll give you your moment. Go ahead. There you go. The Colts are in it.
Coach of the year, man.
The Colts are in it, baby.
For now,
it seems like with the trajectory of the AFC right now, with the injuries the Dolphins are dealing with the Chiefs' offense looking lost, with the Jags having injuries, like it seems like Baltimore's probably a pretty good bet for the number 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
I mean, they almost have to be at this structure.
What I want to see is this team right here. I want to see the Bills make a run and get into the playoff picture.
Look at how many 7-6 teams there are.
Isn't it crazy, man?
Dude, as far as
I would love to see Houston in there too, but it's just such a like their playmakers all being hurt. It just really, it's like I love Stroud and I'd still love to see him make it his rookie year, but
Will Anderson hurt too now. High ankle sprain.
What happens if Denver comes back and wins the West?
They could. They could.
They're 1 game back, right?
Yeah, and the Chiefs look terrible.
Are they on like a 5-game winning streak right now?
Yeah, and the Chiefs' offense just looks. I mean, like Mahomes has two guys he can even semi-trust. Look, the Chiefs fans are worried. The Chiefs fans are worried. Nobody wants the Bills. I bet y'all don't want to see the Bills.
No, they're a dangerous team,
man.
Bills. Kadarius Toney does not want to see the Bills.
Kadarius Toney is hot garbage.
Yeah, he is. He is hot garbage, man.
That receiving.
I want to see the Bills in there. We got enough shitty quarterback playing in the NFL as it is.
Man, give me Josh Allen in the playoffs, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to get Josh Allen in the playoffs. Because I mean, I think you could make the argument that they're probably one of like the,
especially after like the Sean
McDermott teams in the AFC right now.
The Sean McDermott, Osama bin Laden comments. Like, I need that team,
bro.
Did you see that shit? Did you hear about that, Jim?
How in his mind did he think that was possibly okay, like even kind of okay?
Well, it's on the same level. It's on the same level as the Mike McCarthy watermelon thing a few years ago too.
Remember Hold on, what is this? I didn't even hear about that. What is the
McCarthy watermelon thing?
I think it was Mike McCarthy. He did something in it like they.
Let's look it up before we.
I'm pretty sure.
Mike
McCarthy smashes watermelon.
Yeah, but they made it
like into Gallagher.
They made it into a race thing. Is what ended up happening. Like he ended up apologizing for it and everything too. It was like last year.
Mike McCarthy, 2020. Mike McCarthy motivated the Cowboys by having them smash watermelons before the win against the Vikings.
Oh, it was a Gallagher.
Each watermelon was meant to represent a team objective, and players took turns smashing each one.
It got flipped though.
Oh. Well,
I'm gonna go ahead and say that ain't near as bad.
Sean McDermott actually legit. I mean, like that man literally said, like, we need to work together like Al Qaeda did. Like what, bro? What?
But maybe it's worked. I mean, obviously they're on a hike.
This was like a few years ago. I guess it was like a couple of years back.
It's like I saw I forget the guy. I forget the stand-up comedian's name. He's on Saturday Night Live, but he made a joke. He was like it was something about like say what you want about Hitler, but that guy must have had some serious self-confidence if he was okay enough with putting down an entire group of people. It's just like that's what I would call this special. Say what you want about Hitler, but it's just like dude, I can't imagine Chiefs still gonna host the AFC Championship game for the 6th year in a row. I ain't scared of nobody. If they have to see Baltimore, they ain't gonna be hosting shit because I don't think they're gonna be able to leap in front of Baltimore for the.
That's some like Tom Brady level luck. Is like Patrick Mahomes is like in the playoffs and all he has to play is backups.
I'm telling you, man, that defense has kept them alive this year.
The vegan community was up in arms. That's the real people that were offended for sure.
How dare
Dorsey dropping all the behind the scenes stuff in Buffalo. I bet that was Dorsey that leaked that. I bet that was, since he was the scapegoat. And he was the scapegoat too. I mean, he probably that shit was crazy.
Bro, Baltimore. That's the ultimate like football guy thing, though, isn't it? Like the old like we need to work like 9/11 terrorists, Al Qaeda. You see how they work together as a team to take down those planes? That's where we need to be.
Dude, I couldn't believe that shit whenever I read it. I was in awe of I mean,
it's like that meme though. Like if you really think about it though, it's like that meme. Like you ever see like I can't remember what player it was. Like it was like a Bulls player. He was on the bench and he's like,
"Oh yeah, I know the meme."
I mean, like,
yeah.
I see where he's going with it. I mean,
like, the biggest news of the week is the Bill Belichick stuff.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the Bill Belichick stories to come out after he leaves New England.
Oh God, I can't even imagine the stories they got.
You know how that's all going to go down, don't you? Like they're going to say, "Bill, we're not firing you. We're just going a different direction. Here's your statue."
Both parties amicably
mutual parting. Yeah, that's exactly.
I mean, to be fair, he's kind of earned that at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. He has. They should not. He should never have to have the term fired anymore.
No, no. But I know we've asked this question before, but now we can kind of circle the wagon with this year and last year both. Is he a little tainted because of the Brady winning the Super Bowl? Brady still
I
being
don't
a
think.
level.
Right, so
In
like
the, in the eyes of the general public, yeah, he absolutely will be.
yeah, but I think
I don't think like football people will feel that way. But
Long term, no. Short term, yes. That's
I put it in like the perspective of like as a GM.
oh,
He's absolutely
GM.
tainted.
He's historically bad as a GM.
Yeah, but as a head coach, I don't think so. I think he's still one of the best, if not the best, head coaches of all time.
Yeah, that man took N'Keal Harry over AJ Brown and Debo Samuel and them boys, and it was just like everything from there just never.
Yeah. He also took a rookie Mac Jones to the playoffs too.
Yeah, where's Mac Jones now?
Man,
he should fire himself
as a GM. Yeah. Like Bill, sorry. You're gone.
Hey, Bill, I'm sorry, but we got to let you go. All right, I get it, Bill. Thank you for your time, Bill.
Yeah.
Well, he lost out from Josh Dobbs. That was a good story for a few weeks.
I'll tell you what, though, he's about to unlock Derwin James next year whenever he's coaching the Chargers.
Oh God,
he's retiring.
Speaking of defense, you remember how good of a defensive coordinator Brandon Staley was his last year as the Rams D coordinator before he got that job?
Turns out things are not that great when you don't have Aaron Donald.
Right. That was part of my point. But I don't remember a defensive-minded head coach taking over as a head coach, or a defensive coordinator. He gets a head coaching job, and then his defense turned around. It's been like 27th. He's had like the 27th or worst ranked defense every year he's been a head coach.
That's just, I mean, like that just goes to show you though. Like, I mean, being a head coach is such a different thing than being a coordinator is. Like, you have so much on your plate, and I mean,
facts, Kyle. Facts.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, to the point of like, if you're trying to run all the defensive meetings and be a head coach and keep up with the offensive meetings and all that, like, I think it's a lot easier for offensive minded head coaches to do it, because I think offense, especially in today's day and age, is so much easier than defense is. But I mean, yeah, it's just a completely different thing. Like, you have to be so much more than a coordinator whenever you're a head coach. I mean, like,
dude,
Aiden O'Connell,
42-0. 30 seconds left.
42?
42-0.
Wow.
No.
Aiden O'Connell just threw a 20-yard touchdown pass
to Trey
Tucker.
Hey, that's my boy right there. Friend of the show, Trey Tucker.
Brandon Bolden had a 26-yard run. Oh, you guys interviewed Trey Tucker, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah,
he's a good dude, man.
That's right.
And I got to talk to him at the Senior Bowl too. So no, he wasn't at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, Staley had a quick rise. So he was just a positional coach for a while in Denver, and McVay plucked him from Denver.
Yeah,
it was all up from there. But like, as far as the AFC goes, realistically, how many teams in the AFC right now, all things considered with injuries and everything, do you really think have a shot at making it to the Super Bowl?
2.
The Ravens, the Chiefs.
That's it.
That's probably about it.
If the Bills get in, I think they got a shot.
The Bills,
right now, they're not in the playoff picture, but if the Bills get in, I think
if the Bills get in, I agree. The Bills have.
Tyreek's injury better be significant if that's Buffalo's only ticket in.
I still don't trust Miami.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I don't trust any good teams, man.
See, I agree. I agree with Kyle. I think it's the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bills.
I would agree with those three as well.
The experienced AFC playoff teams.
Which means inevitably it'll be like the Steelers or some bullshit.
Yeah, right. Or the
it won't be the Steelers.
Or it'll be
the Joe Flacco Browns.
Hey, I tell you look, the Browns are kind of dangerous. That defense is really freaking good, and Flacco is better than Deshaun Watson. So, like,
he also assaults less women than Deshaun Watson too.
He's looked better. I mean,
he has playoff experience.
He doesn't sexually assault women.
I'm just saying, man, they could win a playoff game with that defense.
They could.
Yep. I agree with
Especially
this
like
too.
if you get like playoff Flacco. Like Flacco in the playoffs is like a completely different player than like.
What if they play Miami in the playoffs? I think they could beat Miami.
What was that noise?
I thought that was your cat.
It was, but like I've never heard that noise ever before. That's a new one.
I agree with this. It would like Miami seems to do really well whenever they can beat up on bad teams, but
Well, I mean, I guess like luckily, like the AFC is mostly bad teams.
bad teams. Yeah,
So,
that's fair. I originally came here to discuss fantasy football playoffs. You can talk with Landon about what it's like to have a bye week because Landon has a bye week in our dynasty league. So
an
you guys can
undefeated
talk
bye week.
about. Yeah, his bye week's a little bit better than yours, Kyle, but a bye week's a bye week, you know. So I don't like either one of you. So
I have a bye week in my other league. I've finished 7-7.
So is Drew the only one that doesn't have a bye week?
I'm supposed to be the fantasy guy.
I say it says the fantasy guy.
Sorry, Drew, we're all
I'll see myself out. All right, so we got Baltimore, Chiefs, maybe the Bills, and the AFC. NFC though is kind of fun.
The NFC is like so top heavy.
So you got San Francisco, Dallas are both pretty tough. Detroit, they're kind of getting to where we thought they were, where I thought they were, but they're about to get to play at home. So,
Ooh, against the Broncos, that'll actually probably be a good game.
The NFC South champ, or AKA whoever
The
gets
bye
a bye
week.
week, and then you got the Eagles. The Vikings were going to be a fun story. Jared, you made such a great call the last time we talked a couple weeks ago, or
And then the very next week, Kirk
like
Cousins
2
went
months
out.
ago. Yeah, they had a schedule lined up for them to really make a run, and then Kirk Cousins went out, and it was like, well, this is wraps now. So I'm kind of
the Josh Jobs feel good story for us.
I'm kind of hoping the Vikings fall out of the playoff picture for just for no particular reason
I
whatsoever.
would like to see
I'd love
Stafford
to see the
play
Rams
out.
get in.
But
They're fun, man.
there's a chance that if the Rams make it in, there is a good chance they could possibly play at Detroit round one of the playoffs. You think about how fun that would be. Matthew Stafford returning to Detroit in a playoff game.
They can win that game
That would
too.
be fun.
That's so good that you
Packers.
like the script writers have to make that happen. Like that's too good of a storyline for it not to happen.
What about the Packers?
Yeah, Chris should be on here with the name the fantasy guy. He's too legit to quit. 49ers, that's not it. There's more than just the 49ers, Kyle. Stop it, man.
I would put Dallas in there.
Dallas should be. I think Dallas has earned the right to be in that conversation. Philly's offense is kind of a mess, but I still think Philly's good enough to where like they have a shot. Like
they can still be the 1 seed.
I think it's the Niners, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. I think those are the 3 teams realistically that could represent the NFC.
I think until the Eagles have an identity and they know who they are on offense, I don't think they're right there with the Cowboys and 49ers.
That's not cool, Chris. Stafford knocking Detroit out of the playoffs sounds all too familiar.
Oh,
They didn't really make the playoffs that often, though, so it's okay.
let's talk about the 49ers, though.
I don't want to.
Let's talk about the 49ers.
You're only doing this to aggravate me, man.
Not really. I think they're very clearly the best team in football right now.
I agree. I think they are too. It sucks to say it, but it's just going to make it that much sweeter whenever they fuck it up in the playoffs again. Like I cannot tell you. I am going to. I will go into hiding if they win, but whenever they lose, I am going to just. It won't be as good as seeing the Rams win the Super Bowl, but man, it's gonna be close.
Man, they
be real
destroyed
close.
Dallas and Philly.
They've destroyed both. The 2 other teams we said were contenders in the NFC. They beat the shit out of both of them.
They might be undefeated if they were in the AFC.
Poor Chris, buddy. I didn't think it could get worse for you guys, but bro, Derek Carr's teammates hate him. They hate that man.
He's bad. He's not.
He is bad. Like have you seen how he's been getting treated by his own teammates the last few weeks? They hate that man.
Don't they have like
Like-
negative $70 million in like cap space next year?
yeah. They've been kicking the can down the road for like 10 years now.
Pacers every night playing them in order
Huh?
to get back. They got to start betting on the Pacers more to get that money back.
I don't even know if they can overcome it. I think they're just
No,
they're just-
there ain't enough parlays in the world to get them out the hole, man.
maybe Shohei
Um,
Ohtani can pay their debt.
My God, no joke.
All right, so Ravens, Chiefs, Bills, Niners, Cowboys, Eagles. So who's the Super Bowl?
49ers and
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Chiefs.
No, I got the Ravens.
Still think
Chiefs and the
Kansas City does it?
49ers.
No,
Of course,
think-
yeah. Of course.
Chiefs are in trouble, man. I think they're not out of it, and I wouldn't be shocked if they made it, but they've got a short amount of time to figure this thing out.
They're not in trouble. They'll be fine.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Part of the reason they ain't undefeated is because they had to play the AFC.
Who did they lose to? I know they had like a really like weird.
They went on a stretch where they played like shit for like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Debo out.
Well, it was more than that too.
I don't remember who
I
they
do-
played.
I do actually kind of worry about their offensive line.
Yeah, outside of Trent, their offensive line's kind of shaky. Oh yeah, Cincy and Cleveland. Yep.
Yeah, but since he had Joe Burrow,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Cleveland's defense is legit.
yeah.
I got Baltimore and the 49ers. I don't want to see the 49ers in the Super Bowl though. I really fucking don't.
I would love to see Lamar Jackson win. Like I would actually love that Super Bowl for both teams.
I would hate it for
Because either
for
Brock Purdy wins a Super Bowl and validates what I've been saying that he's a really good quarterback, or
barf.
the Ravens win a Super Bowl and I get to see Lamar Jackson completely shit on everybody else.
Go put the bid in for Lamar for MVP now because them odds are gonna go up after he destroys Jacksonville this week.
Yeah.
It's a 2-man race.
And then Lamar will win.
How is it a 2-man race? How's Lamar not even in the discussion?
Market, baby.
He's
All about the market.
he's the quarterback of the number one team in the AFC, and he's playing really well. He's playing really, really good football.
I get it, but competition means something too. 49ers and the Cowboys both just beat the Eagles.
Lamar Jackson's already won an MVP. You can't say market.
Really and truly, Dak has the best shot if they win out. Because
I agree that Dak should be the favorite. I'm just saying I would go put some money on Lamar because his odds are lower than they're going to be. Like this time next week, his odds will go up this time next week because he's about to shit on Jacksonville this weekend, and they're gonna be just another game ahead in the AFC. And I'm telling you, the headline on the talk shows next week is going to be: is Lamar Jackson going to win another MVP? And the answer should be yes.
Well, the answer should be whoever Cam Newton thinks is not a game manager, and he said Lamar Jackson is a game.
It's so funny you say that. Let's talk about it. Speaking of Joe Burrow, hot take: he's a system quarterback. Did you see Jake Browning's stats? Every quarterback in the league is now a system quarterback, depending on who you talk to. Joe Burrow is not a system quarterback.
No, he beat Patrick
Jake Browning has played back-to-back weeks against terrible pass defenses and has incredible weapons at his disposal. He looked like shit against Pittsburgh 3 weeks ago, and he's about to look like shit against Minnesota this week. I said what I said. You're wrong though, and you're just a hating Chiefs fan, man, because you've seen what Joe Burrow has done to you guys.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is not a system quarterback. Jake Browning has
what's the definition? Or are we doing like game manager? Is that what
is Cam Newton wrong? Is that the question?
I mean, a system quarterback.
Well, that's what he said is like these guys are game managers.
Game managers, yeah.
Is he wrong?
Yes. I like it. Yes. I mean,
about which one?
Like, is Dak Prescott a game manager?
No, I don't think so.
Not this year.
I think Dak Prescott's quarterback play has elevated the offense. Like he's doing things outside of just what he's asked to do within the offense. I don't think he's just a game manager. I think he's more than that.
I think Cam is better. You got a lot of like older.
To be fair, Cam Newton should have absolutely been on an NFL roster over some of these guys.
Yeah, teams won't bring in Cam because they're worried about the attention he's going to get. Like it doesn't have anything to do with his ability to play. Like he should be in the league right now. He's better than damn near every backup in the league.
I will say this: he did get benched in favor of Mac Jones in New England. So I mean,
well, they took Mac Jones. They took
Mac Jones, and then he didn't come back to the team, right? Wasn't he off the team after they he started some games? He started some games the year before they drafted Mac Jones.
No,
and then I thought he was off the.
Yeah, Mac Jones was their week 1 starter.
Yeah, Mac Jones started off the rip.
I thought he came in like middle of the season that year, or like early in the season.
Because I think that's whenever Cam went somewhere, and then he ended up going back to Carolina.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I like Cam.
Cam got benched for Baker Mayfield.
Joe Burrow scored like 60 total points in his 3 wins. So only 20 points a game is what you're saying.
In this league this year, that's a lot. A game that was 3-0. I mean,
you're wrong. I'm sorry, buddy. Joe Burrow is not a system quarterback, man. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Well, look,
he would be so in any system.
All quarterbacks are system quarterbacks because they all.
No, all quarterbacks are not system quarterbacks. All quarterbacks technically play in a system.
Yes,
but all quarterbacks are not system quarterbacks, though. Those are different things. Playing in a system and being a system quarterback are not the same thing. You know that. You're trying to do some technicality shit, and you know what you're doing. You're smirk over there. You know what you're doing.
What is the main job of a quarterback? What's the number one job of a quarterback?
To
game manage, win game.
There you go.
To win
there you go, Jared.
Not to just manage games. To win the game. You play to win the game, not to manage it.
Yeah, but how do you?
Yeah, but I mean, if
the managers manage the game,
you can't.
They play that shit.
You can't manage the defense. You can't manage special teams.
No, but you have you touch the ball every single offensive snap. You are the most important
player. You manage the offense.
To win, you go win your team the game. It's a reason why so many people think that quarterback wins matter, even though they don't. But of all of the players on a football team, you are the most important to rather your team.
I'm not saying that's the entire job. I'm just saying that's the number one job.
No, the number one job is to win the game for your team.
Yes, and you do that by managing it, by not turning the ball over, by getting the
ball.
System
quarterbacks do it by managing the game. And then actual good quarterbacks do it by going out there and elevating their team. It's not the same thing, man. And you know that.
So then, like, what's the criteria for, like, a game manager? Like, does he have to play? So he's got to play with a great offensive coach. He's got to play with great weapons. So if you're all
I would say, I mean, yes, ideally, but I would say the coach part is – like for the argument of, oh, he's just a system quarterback or he's just a game manager, the scheme and the coach, I think, are more important than the weapons. Because if the scheme and the coach are truly that good, you don't have to have.
So if the scheme and the coach are like that great, so then who's the greatest offensive mind of this generation?
The greatest offensive mind of this generation.
As a coach.
I mean, I think there's several guys that have arguments for that. Who would you say is the greatest offensive mind of this generation?
To me, it's probably fairly simple to me, but I just want to see who you guys would say.
Wait, I'm very intrigued now because I have several names in mind, so I'm very intrigued. If you think it's simple, I'm very intrigued.
So the greatest offensive mind. So to me, like, who has played, like, what coach has been around now for Well, I wouldn't say like been around like just right now. Obviously, not within like the last year or two because you don't know because it's been so soon. But like
Mm-hmm.
a coach that's like been around at least for like a few years now, like Kyle Shanahan or some of these other guys. Mike McCarthy's been around for a while, but
I will say I've been really impressed with McCarthy's play
but
calling.
has had the most success with his quarterbacks and with his offenses.
I mean, Shanahan's the first name that comes to mind. It doesn't matter who's been, and I don't think that any of the quarterbacks that they've started have been particularly that great, but their offenses continue to be great. So he's one of the ones that comes to mind for me. I think
So
McVay.
because
I
he
think McVay
runs
should be in the
because he
argument.
runs a quarterback friendly system that helps them out and all that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do the job for him, but it's
So
very
you
quarterback
so you
friendly.
would think so you pick Shanahan as the greatest offensive mind of this generation.
I don't know if I would pick like on the spot. I'm not sure if I would pick him, but he's absolutely in the discussion. Yeah.
What about you, Jared? What do you think?
Well,
And here's another one. This was the one I was going to bring up too. That this was the other one I was going to
Andy
bring
Reid,
up. Is
yeah.
Andy Reid.
Bingo.
I think that's, but
Sean
I don't
McVay's
think Pat Mahomes is a system quarterback. But
there we go.
because you see what he does out of structure. Don't we? You and I have had this conversation plenty of times.
Yeah.
He does.
So he has great weapons, he's had great weapons, but he still plays with probably the greatest tight end of all time.
Second,
he plays with, well, I mean, that's fine. That's semantics. That's fine. I still think Gronk is to me the greatest tight end I've ever watched.
Agreed.
But
yeah, agreed.
Travis Kelce, very easily.
He's right there though.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
absolutely
Right
has an argument.
Yeah, exactly. Plays with one of the greatest offensive minds of this generation. Plays with a pretty elite offensive line. But he's not a system quarterback. But Brock Purdy, who plays with great weapons, a great head coach, not an offensive line, is a system quarterback because he manages to play within structure better than Patrick Mahomes does.
He doesn't play better in structure than Mahomes. He just doesn't play better out. They both play well in structure, and Mahomes plays better outside of it, and he has better physical tools as well.
If Mahomes was with San Francisco, man, they would go undefeated.
They would go undefeated.
They
They would
win
not lose a single.
It would not even be close.
And I still think you put a quarterback with Andy Reid, I still think they find success.
They would still be a good team.
I'm not saying Brock Purdy is as good as Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that.
Alex Smith made the Chiefs a good team, and Alex Smith isn't all that.
They won a playoff game last year with Chase Daniel.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but again, Mahomes takes them from a team that maybe wins one playoff game to a team to where, even as bad as they've looked this year, you still sat here and said, I'm picking the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I can promise you if Brock Purdy was on the Chiefs, you would not, and if them looking the way that they were, if Brock Purdy was on the Chiefs, you would not have sit here and have the confidence to say the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. You would have been with me and Jared and been like, yeah, Baltimore's going to the Super Bowl.
I would love to see Baltimore.
Patrick Mahomes is that difference maker, man. He plays well inside structure, absolutely. He absolutely benefits from he got drafted to a team that had Andy freaking Reid as the head coach. The offensive line, I'm getting there. Yeah, the offensive line for the most part. There's been years where they've been spotty, but for the most part, the offensive line has been pretty good. And
they've been great here the last like 2-3 years.
Well, it hasn't been that way his whole career. It hadn't been that way his whole
career.
No,
after the Tampa Bay game, the Super Bowl in Tampa
Bay.
Yeah, every year since then, they've been great.
That's what they should be.
And
I'm just trying to figure out why we penalize certain quarterbacks for playing in good situations.
I don't think
it's lift up other guys for playing in good situations. Where's the
I'm not penalizing him. I'm not gonna lift him up the way I think the guys
I'll
are
lift
better.
him up because right now, efficiency wise, Brock Purdy is you're talking about damn near historical levels of efficiency as far as quarterback play goes.
Yeah, it has been.
I'm talking about up there with Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Montana. He's up there with those guys' best seasons.
But do you know what's crazy? Do you know
their best seasons?
To your point, do you know what's so crazy about that insane efficiency? If you take away every single one of his throws beyond the line of scrimmage, only focus at the ones at the line of scrimmage or below, he still leads the NFL in EPA per dropback. He's averaging 8.8 yards per attempt and
Which is crazy.
0.38 EPA on throws of 0 yards or less. Landon, he's thrown the ball 0 yards or less and still leads in that stuff.
Drew, he throws the ball 0 yards or less, almost less than anybody in football.
The number has come down. But
no, not come down. He's 28th in the league and throws 0 yards or less. 28th.
Okay, and the gap between 28th and like 10th is probably like 5 throws. Tell me I'm wrong. The gap between the gap you're talking about here between these guys is minimal. But the point is, the guys
that been damn near at the top of the league since he was drafted,
the guys that are top 5 in the league, the guys that are top 5 in the league in passes thrown behind the line of scrimmage, are their guys still leading the league in every single metric?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you know who has been near the top of the league since he was drafted and throws 0 yards or less?
I'm gonna say Patrick Mahomes probably.
Okay.
I don't know why we keep doing this. I don't know why every time we talk about football we have to talk about Brock Purdy and Pat Mahomes. Every time we do this.
It's not necessarily Pat.
Yes, Mahomes. It is. That's always where you go to is Brock Purdy and Pat Mahomes. Go put on the podcast we did 2 months ago. We did the same thing.
I think this year, statistically, Purdy's the guy this year, and I think obviously, like
a guy that's in his second year as this is his second.
If I had to pick an MVP right now,
I would pick Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott's the MVP. Mike McCarthy's coach of the year.
But I don't think we should discount what Brock Purdy is doing because he plays with a great head coach, with great weapons.
Nobody on the show tonight has tried to discount him. I'm not going to give him as much credit as Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to give him as much credit as Pat Mahomes. I'm sorry. He is not as good of a quarterback as Patrick Mahomes. He's not.
I dropped my phone.
He's not a top 5 quarterback in the league.
I would say right now he's absolutely a top 5 quarterback in football right now.
At this moment, he is a top 5.
Absolutely.
At this very moment, yes.
So right now you would take there's not 5 quarterbacks you would take over Brock Purdy right now. You're starting an NFL team tomorrow. There's not. No, I'm not. In the NFL, I'm not talking about like guys that are healthy, stuff like that. I'm talking about you are an NFL GM. There is a redraft of every player in the league. There's not 5 quarterbacks you're taking over Brock Purdy.
Well, there's other questions to that. Do I get
no?
Do I get the quarterbacks?
Very simple question. Very simple question, Landon. Very simple question.
You
were starting a team from scratch.
Okay.
Every single team in the league. You are the GM. You've got the 105.
Okay.
Brock Purdy's on the board. There's not 5 guys.
1 through 4.
Pick any of them you want. I don't care. Brock Purdy's top 5 in the league, so take whatever 4 quarterbacks you have in front of him off the board.
Yeah, I would feel comfortable with that.
Okay, so just to be clear, like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson. Let me see. Let's see who else. These guys that are hurt.
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew.
I would probably
Jake Browning.
I would probably take CJ Stroud over him right now. But yeah, there's not really many guys I would really take over him right now.
Okay. Here's a
because you know what he does? You know what he does better than almost anybody in football? And this is where the whole argument comes from. He runs the system correctly. He makes the correct reads, the correct throws. That's what I don't understand with people on the internet is they discredit him for that. It's like, what's he supposed to do? So if he misses the correct read and then runs around for 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage and then throws it 30 yards down the field to a scrambling wide receiver, does that make him a better quarterback, even though he missed the read?
I'm okay with that. If you want to say like top 12-ish, no,
But no,
It doesn't make
because he
it
makes
doesn't
the
make him a
correct
quarterback.
read and gets it out on time correctly, he gets penalized. But if he missed the read and then
It has
pirouetted
nothing to
and
do
ran
with
10
missing
yards
reads,
behind the
Landon.
line,
It's whenever the first read isn't there, or like the perfect play isn't there, and then he has to do something on his own. More often than not, it doesn't go all that well.
he creates very well. Anyway, I'm just saying, I think
I
right now,
fucking hate talking about the 49ers. Like literally, same thing. We
I
ended up
love
we ended up going 2 hours last time, and it
it's
was
because I
an
love
hour and a half of
because I
Brock
love
Purdy.
it's because I love watching them. I love the quarterback. Like I could watch that. Like I could watch Brock Purdy run that offense every week, and like 99% of the time, I'm gonna come away thrilled. I'm gonna come away happy.
And every other quarterback that's played there since Shanahan's been there, you could say the same exact thing.
Not to this level, you can't. Which is I think is the main difference. Is like you could say that he's raised their efficiency levels for sure, but that's what I'm saying. That's the difference in this year. Is we're talking about historic levels of efficiency. We're talking about '07 Brady, '04 Manning, 2015 Manning. Like the efficiency levels are up there with that. This isn't like 2019 Jimmy Garoppolo. This is like historic levels. Every single guy that is like basically hit any type of metric that he's hit this year has won the MVP. Every single one of them. And he's not my MVP. Dak Prescott is right now.
You could have fooled me. God damn.
But I think, but I think, but I think he's right there, and I think he
Jesus Christ.
absolutely deserves to be in that conversation.
He deserves to be in the credit, and he should be in the MVP conversation because he is the quarterback of the number one seed in the NFC. Like, yeah, he should be in the MVP conversation, but he is not a top 5 quarterback in the league. Those aren't the same thing. They don't have to go together. It can be one and not the other.
See, I just disagree. I think he is because he does things that he just does things from a quarterback's perspective that not a lot of guys do at the level he does.
Like if Pat Mahomes played on the 49ers, they would be better.
I
If
agree.
Justin Herbert played on the 49ers, they would be better. If Joe Burrow played on the
I don't know
49ers,
about
they
that.
would be.
I think Justin Herbert's more talented, but I don't know.
The Los Angeles Chargers do not have 5 wins this year with Brock Purdy at quarterback.
Oh, Devontae Adams touchdown. Let's go.
They scored again.
They did.
If
49-7 with 10 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter.
Aiden O'Connell is the man.
Is the go.
if Stroud plays in San Francisco, they're better. Lamar, they're better.
Lamar, I would agree. I think. Well, I would agree. I guess that would be tough. It's just
How is
It's
that
just a
tough?
it's just a Shanahan thing, really. Like it takes a certain type of quarterback to do that. And I don't know if Lamar would be like the correct fit. I guess I agree if they ran a different type of offense, yeah. But if you put him on like in this exact offense, I don't know if he would be as efficient. But he would absolutely make more game-changing plays. I agree there for sure. I'm not taking Lawrence over Brock Purdy right now.
I think the
not.
49ers would be just as good if Trevor Lawrence was their quarterback.
I would like right now he's playing better than. I mean, really, in all honesty, he's playing better than everybody but like Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson, and like that's about it.
I would agree he's playing better football than Hurts.
Yes, I think he's playing better football than Mahomes.
I think
He's playing
Kelly
better-
Olynyk sucks.
He's playing better football than Herbert, Stroud, Lawrence, Stafford. I mean, he's playing better than all those guys.
I think you're too quick to overlook what Stafford's done this year.
I love Matt Stafford. I love watching
Rams are a lot of fun, man. They're a ton of fun.
Matt Stafford.
If you're that quick to say that Brock Purdy's been playing better, I just don't think you've watched enough of what he's been doing. I really don't.
I mean,
And I don't sit in your living room every Sunday, so I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend like I do, but I don't think you've watched enough for the Rams if you're that quick to. That man's been balling.
He has been balling for sure. I agree.
He's been dropping dimes, not just past Sunday, every single Sunday. I think he might be playing better than the year that they won the Super Bowl. Like
He's awesome. He's one of
this,
like
this
he's
is some
probably
of the
one of my
best football
top.
I've seen him play.
He's probably in like my top 4 quarterbacks that I love to watch.
Like it gets tricky doing the whole like which quarterback do you do if you're starting a team because he's much older. Like that's a whole different thing. But
I think relative to salary too. Like I think that's part of it too because like Brock Purdy's making like pennies, dude. Like I mean,
we've talked about for years how a good rookie quarterback is the biggest cheat code in football.
But one on a 7th round salary,
right? And that
7th round salary, that's insane.
Yeah, it is. That is quite literally the biggest cheat code in football.
I just think it would be hilarious if we like, which is funny coming from me, but I do think it would be hilarious if like we had this exact same podcast in 2001 and 2002 and we were talking about the New England Patriots instead of the 49ers right now. We'd be talking around a 6th round draft pick named Tom Brady and how efficient he is and how he manages the game. And everybody would be having this exact same conversation.
So I'm glad Kyle's here because this is actually a perfect segue because I know that you're extremely knowledgeable with the NFL draft stuff, with the work you do with the Blue Stable. Thank you. I went blank on the last one. With the work you do on the Blue Stable and all the NFL draft coverage you've done over the last year and then rolling into this year too. This is something I wanted to talk about before we hopped off here. I know we're already an hour deep, but so I'm glad Kyle's here to both throw us off task and keep us on task all at the same time.
There is no task. We don't have tasks. We're just talking.
Yeah, I mean we don't have a schedule. We don't have a schedule.
This is what we would be talking like if we were sitting in a room together.
Literally, yeah. Like this is us. This is us if we were at a table at B-Dubs watching football.
Yeah. Like we would be having this exact same argument.
This is exactly how it would go. And again, another perfect segue. I think he's gone, but I don't think Caleb Williams is the clear number one. I think he's gone, and I think Caleb Williams is the 101. But that's just my opinion. And I think I think Fields has looked good enough to warrant the discussion. But back to our point, I also think that if you believe that whoever you're going to take at the 101 is a guy, you get to reset that rookie clock on your quarterback. And I think Chicago, if they believe Caleb is a guy, like I think he's a guy, I don't think you can pass up the chance to reset that rookie clock. And their defense has played so much better the last few weeks with them getting healthy and going and getting Sweat from Washington before the trade deadline. Like their defense.
They've also had some pretty favorable matchups.
They have, but I mean, even in favorable matchups, they look like shit. They're like it didn't matter who they played early this year; they were getting torched by everybody.
Yeah, Jalen Jones is really good.
Yeah.
So then, what's the question? Like,
so so the question is, do they keep Justin Fields and trade the 101 for
a boatload of picks?
A boatload of picks, or do they take whoever QB1 is and trade Justin Fields? Like, what do you think is the correct course of action? Like, you're the Chicago Bears GM.
If I'm the Bears GM,
yeah, what would you do?
I am probably keeping the 101. I'm trading Justin Fields, and I'm probably taking Drake May.
Drake May is your guy?
He is. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams either, which is kind of like funny to say, but I think
that's becoming. I think people we're getting to that point where people are having prospects.
But I even said this on the last show we did.
You did, yeah. No, I don't think you're one of those folks because you did say that 2 months ago, but I think a lot of people are starting to get prospect fatigue, and we're getting to that point where a guy's been good for so long that they're nitpicking everything. Like people are like, I can't take Caleb Williams 101 because he cried after that game or because he painted his fingernails. Like that's the shit that drives me crazy. With you saying that Caleb Williams isn't the guy, I know you have legitimate, like right or wrong, we won't know. We won't know for another 3-4 years if it's right or wrong. But right or
Yeah,
wrong,
and
you
people
have
will take
actual.
that as me saying he's a bad football player.
But
Like,
you have
because you either
actionable.
have to be like all in on a guy, or like it's the hot take thing. Like you're either all in on a guy, or
Either he's
or
the
you
best
hate him,
player of all time, or he's a
or
bust. There
yeah,
is no
or
in
you
between.
hate him. Yeah, which is
But no, you have actionable reasoning for why you think a guy is or isn't worth that pick.
yeah.
But
I just
then
don't
there's
think he plays well in structure. I
there's
don't think
people
he
on the
handles pressure
internet.
well.
See, and that's where I've seen that.
Well, you can see it on the film.
And then
It's on the film.
Lincoln Riley quarterbacks. But see, my issue with the not playing well in structure thing this year is I don't think the structure itself has been very good this year.
Well, no,
That that
I don't mean necessarily like when I say like playing within structure. I don't necessarily mean as far as like the talent around him or anything. What I'm saying is as far as like running
no,
the
I know
offense,
what you mean.
making the correct reads, getting the ball out on time, accurately. Like I know it's funny. I'm going to go back to this. Playing like Brock Purdy does. He doesn't play well within structure for the most. I'm not saying he can't. Like those are two different things. He absolutely can do it. I just don't think he does it consistently enough. And I do think he struggles in pressure, and I think he creates a lot of his own pressure as well by not reading the field quickly. I think he creates a lot of his own pressure, and then he kind of runs around in pirouettes and makes a 40-yard bomb, and everybody eats it up because it's a top 10 highlight, and they're like, oh my God, he's just this amazing prospect. When in reality, if he just made the correct read and got the ball out on time and made the right play, basically, then I mean, yeah, it's not a Sports Center top 10 play, and it's not flashy and cool and fun, but it's the quarterback's job. And like if you can't do that consistently, I'm not saying I don't think he's a good player, because I do think he's a good player. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback in this league. I just don't think he's like this Patrick Mahomes
I
best
don't think he's gonna be.
generational prospect, like the whole Trevor Lawrence thing we just witnessed. I don't think he's at that level. In all honesty, I would probably take Drake May. I just think Drake May does things a little bit differently within structure. I would just like if I was starting a team, I would take Drake May. But that's not saying Caleb Williams isn't going to be a good player, and I don't think he's a good quarterback. Absolutely, I think he deserves to be the number 2 pick in this draft. It's not like I'm pushing the guy down to like the 2nd round or 3rd round or anything like that. I think he should go number 2. He's just not my number 1 guy. But if I was them, that's what I would do. But what I think they do is I think they keep Justin Fields.
Do you?
Do. I think they keep Justin Fields. I think they fire Matt Eberflus, and I think they get an offensive-minded head coach. They trade that pick for a boatload of picks.
Yeah, see, and that's where I have to disagree with this. I don't think you can take. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think you can take him 1-on-1. If you're not taking one of the quarterback prospects,
if you're not taking a quarterback, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, you've got to trade the pick.
And I mean, they're still. I mean, they can move down like number 6 with Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas would give up a ridiculous amount of picks to get Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And so I think like if you trade down to 6, you're probably talking about 3 first-round picks at least, like probably 2 or 3 second-round picks as well, and maybe even.
That would be gross. I kind of.
Well, I mean,
if they were able to get Jaden, I like Jaden Daniels too. I
like Jaden Daniels, but I mean, I'm talking you can get like Malik Neighbors, or you take like Neighbors, or you take Romo.
Yeah, that's what I would. I would take a quarterback at 1, and then I would take, assuming Marvin Harrison Jr. is off the board, I would take Malik Neighbors.
I think Marvin Harrison Jr. ends up in Arizona.
Yeah, everything points to quarterback Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, unless the Indianapolis Colts trade up to number 3 and select Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 3rd overall pick.
That would be
which is cool. Absolutely what should happen, but it's not
just for the culture.
Yeah,
that would be pretty cool. But no, I like. I mean, I think in damn near any other draft class, Malik Neighbors is probably the wide receiver one. Like I think that he's a really really good
I
receiver.
agree, but you literally have like Julio Jones part 2.
Yeah, no, it's no question Marvin Harrison Jr. should be the wide receiver one. I'm just saying, like Malik Neighbors is that good that any other class,
Yeah. So that's
he's
what I'm
he's,
saying.
he's
If you're
probably the
Chicago
receiver
or even
one.
like edge rushers, so I mean, like what if you do? So if you're Chicago, say like Las Vegas offers you, say they offer you number 6, a first round pick next year, a second round pick this year, and who's their edge rusher? Who's their big edge
Oh,
rusher?
Max Crosby.
Max Crosby. So they offer you Max Crosby, 2 second round picks and 2 first round picks, and you drop down to number 6, but you keep Justin Fields.
And then I'm trading one of those first round picks and I'm moving back up and getting Marvin Harrison Jr.
I take Malik Neighbors, and then I'm taking the best. Like this is a loaded first round for offensive tackles. Like
Yeah.
loaded.
Especially those top few guys, like
Yeah.
like the guys you're talking about at the top right there, where their second
This is a
pick
loaded
is.
class for wide receivers too. So I mean, wide receivers and offensive tackles are like crazy in this class. Like
Yeah.
I legit,
I
like,
love
you probably, I think probably almost half of this first round. I think we see combined. I think we see 12 to 13 combined offensive tackles and wide receivers.
Yeah, and that's I mean, I think that's what it's going to take for them not to
Kyle's
move
just
up.
taking that trade to get Max Crosby out of.
yeah, yeah. The Chiefs should have paid for a receiver. I know they don't have a ton of money, but like, man, they should have gotten some. I mean, I thought it was a pretty glaring, obvious need, and I feel like it wasn't like I don't feel like that's a hot take, but like I feel like it was pretty obvious they needed to upgrade the offense this past offseason. Like in free
Rasheed
agency
Rice,
and shit like
man.
that. And I like Rasheed Rice, but like
He's definitely their one. I mean, there's no question outside of
Yeah, but
Kelsey.
he should
Yeah.
be there free.
right, exactly. Yeah, like with the Super Bowl aspirations they have, he should not be the best receiver on their team.
I agree. Like they're in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, it's not an easy cap situation by any means.
For one, I'm just extremely thankful that you probably won't ever really hear me say this.
I don't get why they traded Tyreek Hill. They should have gave him whatever he wanted.
I don't know.
They should not like. There's a lot of guys in the league, and I'll tell you, I was that was hindsight. Like I was wrong about Tyreek Hill. I thought a lot. I thought a lot of what he did was because he played for the Chiefs. It was like almost like system wide receiver. Like yeah, the guy's fast, but he plays with Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. And then watching what he's done with Miami,
And then it turns out Pat Mahomes played with Tyreek Hill.
right? Yeah, like I was dead wrong about Tyreek. That dude is.
Oh my gosh,
special,
the Chargers finally scored, and the Chargers account just tweeted out, "We scored."
That's all they tweeted.
That's all they tweeted.
Their social media team's better than their real NFL team.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so quarterback Marvin Harrison Jr. Washington probably takes an offensive lineman because for some reason they think Sam Howell's the answer.
Is he not?
No, absolutely not. He's not that guy.
I just like bad NFL players because of fantasy sports. Like
he's great for fantasy because Washington's awful and they're not afraid to let him throw the ball 50 times a game, even though it's done no good for them. Like Sam Howell throws the ball 50 times a game, and they've got the number 4 overall pick right now. Like
you know that he had a game I think it was last week. He threw 43 times, and Terry McLaurin had no catches.
I'm sorry, he threw how many times?
I'm pretty sure it was 43 last week, and McLaurin had 0 catches.
They did win a Super Bowl without Tyreek.
Look, they need to send.
But
Terry
there's no
McLaurin
way.
home.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin to Indy would be good.
He just needs to come home.
I don't know, Kyle. Maybe. I mean, you're the Chiefs fan, so maybe you feel different. I just don't know how. I don't know how you could like. I there's no way you don't feel a lot better about your team if Tyreek Hill's on it this year. And even the year they won the Super Bowl, like I know they won the Super Bowl, but
Yeah, true, man. Turns out offsides penalties do matter. Nobody's
Oh, I
ready
was
for that
saying,
conversation.
he only threw 20. Oh, it was the game before that. McLaurin had a decent game too. He threw 44 against the Cowboys. He only threw 23 last week. Same how good.
better. So, hey, that's fair. I feel the same way, man. The Rams had an awful year the year after won the Super Bowl, and I did not care one bit. I was not sad for one single game.
True. The
the
Colts
year
have
after
that
the Rams
AFC
won the
finalist banner up there. Hell yeah.
Super Bowl.
Forever.
I don't know any other Landon. I mean, you tell me any other draft takes that you got or anything like before.
Yeah,
before
that's
we
what
get
I
out
was
of
gonna
here?
say before. I got distracted. I had to put another Zen in real quick. One thing I'll say, and you probably won't ever hear me say this very often. I'm so thankful the Tennessee Titans won
I know
because
they're shooting themselves in the fucking
I
foot.
know I love it, and it takes them further away to me never having to imagine Marvin Harrison Jr. wearing a Titans uniform.
Oh God, that has to be like literally the nightmare scenario for
The
you,
nightmare
right?
scenario for me is seeing Marvin Harrison Jr. wearing a Titans.
What should be the ultimate Colt receiver wearing a Titans jersey instead.
No way. So yeah, Tennessee, fantastic job winning the ball game. Hope you guys continue to win at least for a couple weeks. Drop down to about 14, 15 in the draft, right where you should be. And yeah, move on to next year. Make another blessed pick.
Well, Vegas is about to win, so they're gonna drop down a little bit. The Chargers are gonna lose, so they're gonna move up a little bit.
That's true. That
Um,
means the Chargers will now be setting at the 5th overall pick after
yep,
tonight.
yep, and
You trade
then
the fifth overall pick for
Man, I'll tell you what's going to hit like
Oh.
crack next year is Brock Bowers from Justin Herbert.
oh, buddy,
With,
oh
uh,
my God,
with Ben Johnson as the head coach.
oh my God, yeah,
That's all-
you're cooking right now.
Yeah. Ben Johnson, head coach. Brock Bowers from Justin Herbert.
Yeah, that would be.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, we see what he's doing with Sam Laporta right now. Imagine if he had Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I'd imagine if you had Justin Herbert instead of Jared Goff.
Yes.
Man,
made
that
that
offense
post.
would be cooking.
I just made that Twitter. I said Justin Herbert every week, and then I put that spider, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man holding that train back. He's just like, it's like every week. It's Justin
I mean,
Herbert.
literally, man. Like, I don't ever come at me trying to say Justin Herbert ain't that good ever again. Like, look at
That's
this
funny.
fucking team without him.
I mean, the fact that people try to discredit him for losing whenever he literally loses like 38 to like
38
40,
to 41.
yeah, and they'll be like, Justin Herbert lost another one.
Yeah,
Like, oh, he only threw 5 touchdowns this week. What a fucking loser!
shit's crazy, man. This shit is absolutely crazy.
Quarterback.
So, who are some of your other favorite prospects?
All right. Well, I love Dallas Turner, the edge out of Alabama.
Yeah, the edge. Yeah.
I've got like a whole. I'd have to find my folder. I've got like a whole list.
Give me some
Rome,
offensive guys because I don't. Romo, yeah, okay. Talk
Rome.
offense to me because I really only paid attention to offense for fantasy purposes right
Let me
now.
pull up my notes here. I'll give you some offensive guys here. Obviously, I mean, I can talk about offensive linemen if you want. There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those I love. Let's see here. Oh, wrong one. That's offensive tackles. That's what I'm saying. I got a lot of offensive tackles written down on here. Like Joe Alt, man, like that guy's gonna be a freaking monster.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, obviously Brock Bowers, just mentioned him. That guy is. I don't know if he's gonna go as like high as Kyle Pitts did. They might have learned their lesson with that, but But yeah, that's
Yeah, Brock's legit, man.
he's really good.
Yeah, he is. He is very
Xavier
good.
Worthy, love Xavier Worthy as well. Big fan um, of him. This running back class is. I'm trying to go I'm trying to find like my first running back down the board that like I'm just like love. Um, I like Braylon Allen a lot, but Bucky Irving out of Oregon, that guy,
Mhm.
I think he's going to be really good. Everybody talks about Blake Corum. I think Blake Corum's good, but I don't know if he's who I actually like Donovan Edwards, who is his backup running back. I actually think he's going to be a better NFL running back than Blake Corum is. Um, and then, I mean, do you just like more running? Do you want like running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, like fantasy stuff?
Yep. Give me the fantasy guys you like. Those are the ones I'm most familiar with.
Okay. See, I named a few. I mean, I can do a few wide receivers as well. Um, obviously, we just talked about a couple of them, but Keon Coleman, everybody's talked about him. Uh, Lad McConkey out of Georgia.
And McConkey from Georgia, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Bill Belichick is salivating at getting McConkey.
that's right. Another white boy I love because I watched a lot of him last year doing the Anthony Richardson stuff. But Ricky Pearsall,
Yep.
I think he's like Adam Thielen light. Like he reminds me so much of Adam Thielen. Jerry Rice's son is
I
going to
know,
be
right? Isn't
Brendan
that
Rice.
crazy? Yep.
That's going to be interesting for sure. Man, this is a loaded wide receiver class. Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU. He's going to be another really good one. Tight end wise, this is not quite the tight end class last year was because that class was just insane.
That class was so loaded.
Yeah, but I really like Jaheim Bell out of Florida State. I think he's going to be a really good tight end in this class. But yeah, it's pretty much like Brock Bowers and then everybody else. AJ Barner out of Michigan, I think, is good too. Yeah, there's some really good ones, but like most of it to me is like this pretty decent edge rush class. I like the edge rushers in this class, but the offensive line and wide receiver class this year, and the quarterback class, obviously, like we talk quarterbacks all day. Obviously, we talked Caleb Williams and Drake May. Jane Daniels is up there. JJ McCarthy in there. Michael Penix Jr. I don't know if he's coming back or not, but obviously he's up there. I'm not super high on Bo Nix. I don't think Bo Nix is going to be that great in the NFL just because I believe he played. I watched him back up Cam Newton at Auburn about 15 years ago.
Yeah, so my feelings on the quarterback class basically is I like Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels quite a bit, and then after that, I'm not really sure if anybody else is really going to be like a guy.
Yeah, I think Penix is. He's good. He's really good, like really, really good. I think he deserves.
He would be the next guy up for me, like in that conversation.
I think JJ McCarthy is going to be better in the NFL than he was in college. I think he has a lot of really good NFL tools. Very similar to do you remember like how Justin Herbert was coming out of Oregon? Like really tool based, but like didn't have the gaudy numbers and everybody wasn't sold on him. I think JJ McCarthy is very similar to that. If Jordan Travis didn't get hurt and didn't break his leg, Jordan Travis would be up there for sure. That dude's freaking awesome. But obviously we don't know what's going to happen with that. But yeah, I mean, like this isn't it's a very top heavy draft as far as like quarterbacks go. And then the rest of it, I think wide receiver and offensive tackle in this draft, like offensive guard and center is not that great, especially at guard. This is a terrible guard class. But like if you need a tackle in this class or you need a wide receiver in this class, I think you're going to be pretty happy with what
you are.
I think there's like going to be 6 or 7 wide receivers drafted in the first round in this class.
Yeah, I could see it. I can see Xavier Worthy's nice.
Keon Coleman. Nobody's even talked about Keon Coleman.
So of the top guys, he's one of my least favorite. But I do
he
think
doesn't
he could be solid.
separate at a high level.
No,
But
that makes me, as far as like that traits for college receivers that I look for. That's one of the big ones that that's one of the lessons that I
Johnny
learned.
Wilson's up there too, like his running mate. Johnny
Yeah.
Wilson's up there. He's really good. Nobody's taught it. Like, dude, I love actually Xavier Leggett. Like,
Mhm.
I think he's really good. Man, this is a loaded class now. I'm like just going down thinking about it. I mean, Igbuka's up there from Ohio State.
Yeah,
So I
he's
talked about
one of
Troy
the
Franklin, Lad McConkey. Man, this is it's crazy. It's a crazy one.
It's a very good receiver class. I think that there's a lot of good depth running backs. I don't think there's any like huge difference makers. Like there's not like a Bijan or a Jameer Gibbs.
Not in this class. I don't think we see one.
I think there's a lot of really good like committee backs. Like I think there's a lot of running backs that are going to make their teams like whatever team they get drafted to, they're going to make their teams committees a lot better. But I don't think there's any like workhorse starters.
Yeah, I'm not like a huge. Which I mean, of course, like things will change once we get into.
I like Trayvon Henderson, but there's rumors that he's going to go back to college.
Yeah, which would be like
Ohio State
in this running back class.
Yeah, I think he's my favorite running back. So if he goes back, that'll suck. What's the guy's name? Trey Benson from Florida State.
Yeah, I like Brooks out of Texas.
Yep.
I think he's a pretty good running back. But
yep.
Yeah, I mean, outside of them, like you're talking about, like once you get past Henderson, you're talking about like Brooks and Blake Corum. And like
I'm curious to see Braylon Allen's testing numbers because he's still really, really young. And if he tests well at the combine,
he's a freak athlete.
Yeah,
he's a freak. He'll blow the combine up. But
he had good receiving numbers this year. Well, like counting numbers.
Yeah, he's like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah,
I think he'll be drafted. He'll be like 19 years old when he's drafted.
Yeah, very young.
Which is nuts. But,
should be interesting, man.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm just curious about this draft order. Like, I mean,
I know that's one of the best. Like the NFL season ending sucks, but it's nice to get like an accurate picture of what at least for the non-playoff teams, what the NFL draft order is going to look like.
Well, at least for now, because I mean, I think there's going to be a ton of movement in this draft. Like
a ton of trading and stuff.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a ton of movement in this class.
Jared, if the Colts could draft one player, is it Marvin Harrison Jr.? Is that the guy you'd want them to get if they could just draft somebody out of this class?
Yeah, because he's going to be the best fantasy option too.
You imagine Anthony Richardson and Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Fun.
Please stop.
Michael Pittman's been great this year.
Michael Pittman.
Josh Downs. Awesome.
John Taylor.
Yeah. That'd be
Michael Pittman and Marvin Harrison Jr. on the outside, Josh Downs and Jelani Woods on the inside, Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. Woo!
Let Shane Steichen cook, bro.
Oh my God, that offense! Good Lord, have mercy. I'll tell you that's one of the saddest things for me this NFL season is Jelani Woods never being healthy and never getting to play.
He was almost there, man, and then he had like a pretty big setback with his other hamstring. Like not even the one he was rehabbing.
Not the one that he hurt.
Yeah, his other hamstring got injured during the rehab process. So I don't think he sees the field this year. But man, I'm excited to see him. I think Andrew Ogletree has really which I mean he was hurt last year. He tore his ACL in camp.
He has played well though.
I think he's going to be really good in this league too. I don't know. I'm still iffy about Kylan Granson. I think he's has a very niche spot, but I don't know. But Andrew Ogletree and Jelani Woods, I think those two are and I think Will Mallory's really good too. Nobody's really talked about him, but I mean they took him in the 5th round this year, and every time that dude's on the field, he makes plays. So I mean the Colts are very deep at tight end. They don't have that top tier huge name, but they've got 4 or 5 guys they can go to and feel comfortable with. But yeah, I'm ready for JT to be back, man. That's
100.
That's the engine of our offense right now, and it wouldn't be quite as bad if Anthony Richardson was out there. That's my only thing, man. That was my one red flag I had on him through last year's draft, almost that. But
yeah. Yeah,
I was scared about his medicals, but
dude, if Richardson can stay healthy,
he can
man,
just stay healthy. He's going to be such a freaking nightmare to deal with.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he was, my mind always goes to fantasy, but doing on a points per game basis, he was the quarterback 4 in fantasy those weeks that he was healthy.
Yeah,
Like,
Shit, one game he got hurt like before half. He got hurt
it
like
was the Texans game.
yeah, he had 21 fantasy points in a quarter.
Yeah,
and that the game that the one Anthony Richardson game I really paid attention to whenever y'all played
obviously
the
the Rams
Rams.
game. That second
That
half,
that dude in the second half, man, I was
was unstoppable.
that was the least upset I've ever been about a lead that the Rams have blown because I was just so blown away watching him play football. Like
It's fun.
Well,
he
really,
was,
like I mean, they should have completed the comeback if Granson didn't drop that pass on the sideline.
yeah, that one drop pass is what did it.
Yeah,
Y'all would have had the comeback.
yeah.
Like I mean, he
I mean, that was a
he
dime of a
played.
throw, dude. That was a dime.
It was such a good throw.
Yeah, I mean, just hit it right in the fucking
Yeah,
stomach. He just dropped it, and I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, he
I was
the definition of and that was without JT too. Like they didn't have Taylor in that game. It was like
nope.
we'll put this team on my back, and he
Yeah.
literally that was like MVP Cam Newton type shit.
Yeah, dude. He was incredible the second half of that game. I
That's what I'm
was
saying. Like
blown
once he went
away.
down for the year, and of course too, it had to happen against the Titans.
Against the Titans. Yeah.
Of course, because they ruin everything. Even their own draft position, they ruin. But I will say the Titans did get swept, so
They did. That's true. You guys did sweep the Titans.
we did sweep the Titans. Trash team.
And so it's a failed season, but a good season all at the same time.
Absolutely.
It all came full circle.
It did.
You're right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm pretty much outside of the draft. Well, once draft season, I'm kind of taking a break right now because I know once draft season starts, I'm just gonna be
that's your season.
Sheesh, man, I'm gonna be so busy. But
Are you going to the Senior Bowl this year?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, I would
Yeah.
imagine so. But I mean, I'll see how things work out. I'm not going to the NFL draft this year because it's all the way up in Detroit, and I'm not going to Detroit. So
Don't blame me.
yeah, I'm not a Detroit guy. I might go next year, but I went this year. It was in Kansas City. It was awesome, but I don't know if I'll make it to Detroit. But yeah, I'll see what happens. There's a lot. Driving down to Mobile and then driving back, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think there's a couple buddies from the fantasy team that are going to going to the Senior Bowl.
it's a great time. I recommend it for anybody. If you can get media credentialed for it, which isn't really super difficult anymore. They credential the most out of any bowl game or any of the big draft things. That if you can go, I highly recommend it. It's a great time, great people, tons of networking, a lot of great people down there. Yeah, definitely do it if you can, for sure. Even if it's just once, for sure do it. But yeah, I'm all fresh out of ideas. It's almost 10 o'clock. It's time for bedtime.
Yeah. Let's bring us home. Send us out of here.
All right. Well, if you guys enjoy watching us argue and talk shit and just really hang around, we're a bunch of buddies because we are. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the like notification, hit the bell notification. You could be notified for, once every couple months we go live and do this. It's not as much as we would like, just because we're all so busy nowadays. But it's so much fun getting together and talking with these guys, and especially if you're in the DFS, go ahead, check out Big Jared. You got any plays this weekend?
Man, you don't even want my advice anymore.
Not right. No, right now. It's been whoever you're going to be playing. It's going to be a backup quarterback.
Fire up the Lamar OBJ stack.
If you do play the Saturday slate, fade Jake Browning.
There you go. You got your advice right there. So, Drew, you got any advice for any fantasy playoff? Who's your
don't play fantasy football.
Yeah,
that's my advice.
Great advice.
Not good for your mental health. I'm literally on DraftKings watching Isaiah Joe check into the game and give me nothing. So.
You hear the phone drop. Just don't if you haven't
Don't
started,
do it.
just don't start.
Yeah.
Don't play fantasy football.
Yeah, it's like nicotine. I had somebody the other day. They were like, "Hey man, I was thinking about buying some of this dip." And they're like, "I know you do it. Like, you have any like best brands or anything?" I was like, "Well, have you ever like dipped or done anything before?" He's like, "No," and I was like, "Don't do it. Like that's that's about it. Don't buy any. Don't do nicotine. It's it's a bad habit. Don't pick it up, but it gets me through the day." But that being said, thank you guys so much for listening to us. We'll be back here soon, probably for the playoffs. Once everything's set, we'll do a playoff show. We'll have some fun with it. And we'll check you guys out later. Merry Christmas, by the way, to everybody.